You know what I've never noticed about Minecraft before? It's that as I just stand here, my avatar is very slowly inhaling and exhaling. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and then breathe out. Anyway, this is David, and I just wanted to take this video as an opportunity to show you something that I've been building in Minecraft for quite a while. This is it. It's some trees, some vines, some mushrooms. I was trying to get something that looked almost exactly as if it had been generated by the code in the world. I think I've done that, and that's the end of the video. No, not really. What I've actually built is this over here. We don't really have a name for it yet. I built it exclusively out of marble, and I wanted to call it something like, I don't know, the White City, but you know, not racially white. There's actually no people who live in it but me, so it is technically racially white. But the important thing is that it's just because I'm the only one there. It's not. There's been no genocide. That's what I want to make absolutely clear. In the event that this gets used in my Hague trial, then I want to make it clear that there's been no genocide. Now, it's an unusual way to start a Minecraft video. If you were visiting the city for the first time, you would come in from the sea along this man-made lake/canal, and you would arrive at this gate. God, my frame rate's dropping something crazy. You would arrive at this gate here, and this is actually supposed to be a statue of me, but it's loading up Minecraft Steve. Can't do anything about it. There are gate controls here. Click. I wish I could both open that gate and show you the gate opening, but it works. And you come through the gate, and then you go back up and close the gate. Yeah, this doesn't really work in fly mode when there's only one person here, but it's a security measure. It's, you know, be safety conscious, people. Now, the lower level is both not loaded in, as you can see, and also unfinished. So what I'm going to do is take you up here. This is actually a Minecraft seed that I found somewhere. It's an extreme hills biome, and it had this great area of high hill with this sort of valley, and it was all concealed in basically a circle within itself, and I just thought this was cool. So what I started off with was this dome structure in the middle here, a sort of rotunda, if you will. This was my first creation, and there you can see what the statues are supposed to be, statues of me scattered all over the place. This one which faces, which way does this face? North. This one facing north. I've got nothing. I don't know what my plan was there. This one here, which is made out of glowstone, very much the come at me bro look, which is not a look that you see often enough, I think, on classical architecture. So, another failure to load there in a Minecraft Steve. So, this building essentially was built to house what I like to put in all of my constructions, which is a computer terminal. And what we've got in here, these are airlocks, by the way, which detect players, just to keep mobs out to start off with. If we look at what's actually in here, you'll see that I've got not infinite resources, but I have enough resources so that I would never be able to conceivably use all of them. And this is actually created through an automation program. I've got a number of workshops which I'll take you around, which are actually collecting everything, which do tasks like gather up sludge and convert sludge into dirt, gather up oil, transfer oil into fuel, collect mob essence, that sort of thing. And I've got a lava generator as well. You'll see that was just a bit of sludge there. Missed it. Bit of sludge coming into the system, which is then going off somewhere else to a sludge boiler. So what I like to do is automate all of this as far as I possibly can. I haven't got anything interesting to show in terms of numbers. I suppose just over 500,000 bits of redstone, and for anyone who's ever had to hunt around for a diamond in survival mode, I currently have 51,823. So picks all round. Picks all round. Even the diamond isn't actually the best pick that you can make. It's quite sad. So this was the first building. What I built up from here, nice little library area. I was just thinking, how would you use this space if you see this as being the centre of a particular city? You would probably have a bit of a library in here. I've got a bigger library than this now, but this was my sort of starter library. We've obviously got the computer that holds recipes, which is actually broadly unnecessary for what I tend to be doing. I've automated a huge amount of this, but it is important for the more complex recipes. And what this all runs from, you'll see rather than a lot of cables, we've actually got a tesseract up here, which is powering the computer system, and it's powering it from this, so a modest little reactor that I've got here. Its battery's actually almost full, it's ticking away nicely. I've got another 2 nuclear reactors, both of which are bigger than this, and those are attached to the lasers that are getting all of these resources which the rest of the place is processing. If we look at this tesseract, you can see I've set up a number of connections. So I think there are 12 in total. Or maybe that's 13, which is why that's at 13. But one of these provides power to the computer, one of these does farming. I've got one which is notionally for a force field. Haven't actually built a force field. Also don't know if they run on any sort of electricity that I can supply to them. So this is just this is just in case, essentially. And I put together 8 different ones for different mining projects potentially, and some auxiliary ones just in case. So this is all attached to here, and these have been useful because I basically didn't want to have to run a duplicate set of cables around the whole place. I do have to run these ME cables throughout the whole of the city, and this really is the reason why I've got this sort of connector room. If we look along there, we can see I've extended the cables in that direction. Bit of a secret door. This is... Oh, huge drop in frame rate again. This is one of the places where I've got the lasers set up. You can see lasers which will burrow down into the earth there, mine up all the resources, all of the ores that are available. I think there's been a change to this since I first started using it, because when I first tried using a laser in a previous version of this, what it would actually do was provide nether ores, as well. That's not the case with this one. It seems to only create overworld ores, and there's a bit of me that wonders if that's to do with where I'm building it, because when I built one of these before, I did it on a space station, and the space station maybe has access to lots of different types of ores than you get when you're on the ground, or maybe it's a change to the mod, I'm not sure. In any case, I'm much shorter on nether ores and Twilight Forest sort of fantasy ores than I have been in the past, but the intention of these tunnels is basically just to give me an easy way to get the ME cables all around the place, and this has been set up wirelessly so I can access all of the resources that I want remotely just through that. So I built a sort of small residence for myself just to start off with. Very small villa, but you can see the sort of architectural style that I've been going for with all of this. So what would you call this? Palladian? Hellenistic? Greco-Roman? Something like that. Something like that. And over here I've got a teleporter, which is there basically just as a sort of just-in-case measure. What I've done is set up another teleporter in the Nether rather than using the Nether portal. The teleporters are actually really useful. And a lot of my resources, particularly Yellorium, which is what these are, Yellorium crops, for the nuclear reactors, the big reactors mod. These are all creating Yellorium because the actual amount of Yellorium ore that is generated by the lasers is slightly less than the amount of Yellorium you need to keep the reactors running to gather new ore, so you need a separate source. So I have slightly more than I need now. I've actually got 100,000 blocks of Yellorium at present, which is substantially more than I need. But lots of different magical crops here. Rather than use mob spawners and create mobs, chunk took a while to load there, what I've got wherever I can is the equivalent essence ore. So this is ender crop. What else have we got? That was a disturbing sound. Yeah, what I've got... Jesus. What is... I am not entirely sure what that noise is. Oh, it'll be workhouse noises. I keep forgetting that I play with sound off on this. God. That's terrifying. So, this is Workhouse Alpha. This is the first of the workhouses that I created to process... Oh. Too clever with half there. To process all of the different ores. So we've got sag mills. Sag mills, excellent, excellent mod. For most ores, they are the most efficient way of dealing with them. In some cases, I'm pretty sure that's the rock crusher that's making that noise. In some cases, the rock crusher is better. It'll give you a 10% chance of getting an extra piece of dust, which will then be smelted down in one of these smelteries. I'm not coming in here with the sound on again. This is bloody terrifying. Listen to that. I don't know if this is even being recorded. I find it chilling. I'm just here by myself. Anyway, and this is just various different floors. I think we've got 3 floors of different crushers and pulverizers and a sawmill set up here and some auto crafting tables. Also a placer and a breaker because some of the mods, I think yeah, there we go, the amethyst and the silicon need to be broken individually. You can't actually process them. Silicon is Galacticraft core, so Galacticraft basically doesn't work well with anything. And I'm not sure what the deal is with amethyst as to why it can't be processed by anything if you pick it up with Silk Touch. I think that's just lazy programming. I really do. Biomes of Plenty, you heard me. It's not very good. So, partial buildings loading all over the place. I've got another workhouse here. I'll let you have a look actually again at the architecture of what I'm doing for Workhouse Alpha here. Minecraft Steve stealing all my statues. These are normally me. We're obviously having an issue with it. So this is the general style I've tried to adopt in all of these buildings around the place. This is probably the one I'm happiest with in terms of the workhouses, but some of this is like a maple sort of thing. Some of the ones that I'm happy with, obviously I'm very happy with the rotunda in the centre, but this is my version of the Parthenon. It's smaller than the Parthenon, but it was that sort of thing that I was going for. Two versions of, I think this is Minecraft Steve again, although it should be me. Two versions of Minecraft Steve looking up at a sort of fight scene that we've got here. Again, these should all be me. And a temple sort of area which we've set up here to worship me again. There we go. And some of these made from Xeno's Reliquary mod included in there. So the walls of all of this, one of the important things in creating this was that I wanted it to look credible in terms of actually having the walls at the sort of height you would get if you were creating a sort of fortress city. You wanted them to look defensible, even if for Minecraft purposes you really only need walls to be 2 blocks high and there's nothing that can actually get over them, except an Enderman and a spider. The Endermen teleport, by the way. Just when I'm saying that, I can picture somebody going, 2 blocks. I mean, they can teleport. If they see you, they could just jump over it, potentially. This is a charging station. Ooh, charging station. Here, I'm just going to charge up the wireless thing, and again, I'm using a Tesseract here. That's quite a nice sound. Again, myself, I play this completely without any sound at all, so all of these sounds are a new experience for me, and I am going to get freaked out quite significantly by them. My favourite construction in this city is probably this building that we're next to just now. I'll back up a bit so you can get a bit of perspective on it, and then I'll approach it so it loads, and then I'll back up so you can get a bit of perspective on it. This is the closest equivalent I could make to the Gare du Nord train station, which is in Paris. And obviously the Gare du Nord is longer than this, but essentially it becomes a sort of scaled down repetition of this section that we're looking at there, which just goes on and on and on for quite some time. The main building, the main focal point of the building, is something that looks fairly similar to that, and the intention with this, Candy was helping me out with building one of these railway lines going out here. The intention is that this is going to be a sort of central hub for people to go from here to other parts of the world, which haven't as yet been built. So what I've got is a train station that goes to nowhere and a train station that goes to almost nowhere. I have no idea what was going on with that pillar. Endermen don't steal blocks from the middle of pillars, do they? It's probably just a glitch. Anyway, some carpet blocks on the ceiling really give you a sense that there's some sort of mosaic going on up there. I thought that was a nice touch, and all fairly symmetrical. I'll take you on a train ride in a minute, but I just want to go around the rest of here first. So there are a couple of things that I've been having issues with. This is the Yogcast Complete Pack. I tried to upgrade to Resonant Rise 3, the new mainline set, but unfortunately it would not run, or it would run locally, but I couldn't get it to connect to the server at all. So I could run my own version, but this is a hosted server, which means that it runs 24/7 basically, which is useful for the automation. and couldn't get it to run. Now obviously that's something that they're still working on, but basically I'm working with Yogcast Complete because even though it's buggy, I understand the bugs in it, and I'm relatively able to cope with these bugs. This I imagined as being sort of the house of a cartographer, and I set this up originally so that I had that wall covered with map tiles, and I was trying to do something that I saw lots of people actually have done with the Yogcast Complete Pack, which is have a wall that was entirely made up of maps. For some reason, I cannot get more than one map tile to load at any one time, so the best I could do was have one map tile on the wall, which felt a bit ridiculous, so I just got rid of it. And this is a treasure map that takes you to the Ender fortress on this particular world, which is actually at 00, because I just created it. And because I saw this very much as being a domestic home for the cartographer, it's a nice 3-bedroom place, kitchen, office, living room space. It's very nice. Of course, it's right next to the train station. It'll cost you a fortune. I mean, you know, we say cartographer, but it's not going to be a public servant. It's going to be like a banker that moves in there. You just know it. But I put in some window boxes around the edge here. Thought that was a nice touch. And again, this is another workhouse. I'm not really been sure what my needs are, so the other workhouses that I've created have tended to be somewhat ad hoc after the first one. This one is basically just filled with automatic crafting tables. Some of the others I'll take you around have got more interesting things in them. View of the Parthenon there. Pump room. This is where everyone goes to break wind. Thank you. Please send your laughs on a postcard. And this is one of the locations where, actually, this is the room that contains the lasers, and there you can see another reactor in there. We came into that from another angle earlier on. And the same setup that we see in here has actually been set up in this building here, which has some farming on the top of it as well. Ooh, sounds. Now, I'm hoping to set something up in this one. No, I don't think a reactor. I think I have all the ores I need. I'm going to explore whether or not I can actually set up a nether wart farm in here. Otherwise this does go down to bedrock because I had a quarry mine all of this out. And there is going to be some sort of elevator system which takes people out from that door and down to the lower level. This is a library, which again is based on, I googled library building, and this was one of the things that came up, and it's substantially inspired by whatever the hell this was. I think it was an archive that was named after someone, and I can no longer remember what his name was. But set up as a very conventional library. Ground floor. If you go up to the first floor, we've got some soft seating up here. Bit of casual space, some work desks for more serious work going on here. And if we go up to the top floor, I think that should just be more of the same. Yeah, more libraries, big stacks of books. More libraries? More library space. Big stacks of books. If you go down to the basement, we've got some filing cabinets. We've got some books for enchanting, because as you'll know in Minecraft, enchanting requires books, so I thought I'd set it up with the enchantment table being in the library. And that means that I've also got an auto disenchanter and an auto anvil set up there to sort of transfer any enchantments that I want to keep onto slightly better items. literally those are the only functional things in this whole building. It's enormous. I can't believe I spent this much effort building a building that does literally nothing. But it was, I think, probably worth it. A little bit of detail around there. Go around with micro blocks from Forge. Just adding that little trim. So it makes all the difference. Now this, you'll see that these pillars actually don't reach all the way to the ground yet because I've not finished, as I said, this lower level. But the intention is that this is a sort of sewage line that runs along here underneath the cobbles, which takes you to our processing plant over there, and some railcraft smokers that have been included in there, and up around them, underneath them actually, at that level are the sewage boilers. The reason they're kept separate, if you're not familiar with the mod, is that they will actually poison you and give you hunger and give you all sorts of other nasty mods if you go near them. This is the room that I keep the assembly table in. Nothing else in there but the assembly table. I like these little walkways. I'm quite pleased with them. Building's built of marble and quarried, white stone gravel. I've kept a fairly limited sort of grey palette, but I've thrown in elements of gold and purple here and there. Let's get a slightly better look at this. I like this facade. The building itself arguably is probably not deep enough. It looks a little bit slim when seen from the side, so it works quite well front on. But again here, what I've got is the Ex Nihilo sieve, which I've set up so that it can be activated by these autonomous activators. I've got that set up to break sand, so the sand that you break in the Ex Nihilo sieve will give you some of those fantasy ores and some of those nether ores that you won't get by using the lasers at the moment, so that's really quite useful. I've also got a block breaker here which is set up specifically to break grass, which is harvested, and that's a composter which is dealing with occasional blurps of sewage that show up in the world and that I just want to get rid of, but I don't really want to just fill them in with sand. I like to harvest the sewage. I like to suck up the sewage and I like to process it into something useful. Again, auto crafters along here. I'm not sure, what is this smelter doing? Oh, this is making glass, and essentially this is just monitoring how much glass I've got in the system and seeing if I need more and more auto crafters set up here. So I think I will need to build another workshop at this point, because at the moment all of my space is taken up with various different things. If we come down here to the unfinished area, God, load! You! Load! God. Hang on, I'll run into a wall and it'll load. There we go. So, these are sort of villager houses. Now, you'll notice that the rest of what I've built has been very much stone built, very serious, very built to last. I wanted to construct things that looked a lot like the houses that were created automatically in villages, and so I've used sort of mangrove wood and I've used skystone, cobblestone to make it look like the city, but also sort of lower rent than the rest of the city. I'm not sure how successful these little buildings are. I'm intending to come back and put things like beds in them at the moment, so this has got a separate bedroom at the back, and this one will just have a bed in it, and that will be it. And I'm hoping to fill out this space here with sort of docks. Let's load this in. Let's load this in. There we go. with docks under here, actually under the mountain area that we've got here, and I do not know what is wrong tonight. I think it's because I'm using fraps. It's maybe testing the amount of memory that's available on the system. Maybe not. This building here, you'll see I've got an altar from Ars Magica 2 on the top of it here. One of the benefits of actually having a setup that gives you infinite materials, basically infinite materials, is that you don't have to worry about upgrading from lots of different versions. I just happen to have, I think, about 1,000 sunstones in the system. Tell you what, let's check. Yeah, I've got 32,000 nether quartz. And sunstone, 1,001 sunstone. So that's the highest level of crafting that you can actually apply there. Actually, that's quite good. I'll show you that. So that's the overall view of the city, and we've looked at about 2/3 of it now. I'll take you in to this building because what I wanted to do is have a space that was set up so that when I decided to use Thaumcraft later, or if anybody else decided to use Thaumcraft, there was just basically a lot of different materials set up in the one space so that you can just scan them very quickly and get everything you need. Now, I showed you earlier on the little house that was next to the rotunda, which is over there somewhere, but I actually built something a little bit grander, and if I take you up through here, this is the sort of entrance hall for the property. I'm not sure how I feel about that ceiling. I think it's okay. But a couple of main rooms here, which I haven't put anything in, so I'm thinking a general sort of living room, dining room, and not really sure. Maybe some kitchen space? Not sure. Anyway, we go out on this sort of covered walkway that we've got here. One way is the gardens, a bit more of a private garden here, so these aren't automated, but some magical crops there and some general foodstuffs over there. Pathway to an arboretum, witchwood tree there, and going up these stairs to what really can only be described as a throne room. So I've set this up with the intention of it being very intimidating. You'll see the chimmerite ceiling that I've got there. I thought that was a nice touch. And seats, the back heights indicate the seniority of the people who are allowed to sit in them. Some armor statues, some armor stands along the back here. Some nice artwork. And then through into the new private house at the back here with music player, big bed, table chairs, that sort of stuff. And again, some armor stands there, and a bathroom, toilet, sink, cabinet. And what I set up here was a sort of plunge pool with spring water in it. Nice little regen effect. I'm not sure if I can drown in spring water. I'm in creative mode anyway, so it doesn't matter. Not sure how that works. Anyway, so that's the bulk of what I've actually built here. Some of those tunnels that I mentioned extend quite far, and the rest of it's essentially just decorating with trees. I'll take you up here. There you go. Lots of statues of me. That's what it should look like. And I wanted this to look sort of organic, as if there was marble rock, which this had just been hewn from to an extent, but also sort of semi-formal, semi-ruined. So we've got pillars that are scattered from place to place here. And I think it looks quite attractive at night. There are some extra rooms here again, which I don't really have a purpose for in the main building, just sort of providing some extra space. And this tower likewise is similarly empty just now. So, from the railway station, what we've got is, I'll take you on both actually. Why the hell not? This is the subway for the city. I'm just going to push that cart into place. The subway for the city, which ultimately will take us underneath the whole city and then out the other side. So the intention is that anything which is west of the city could be accessed via this route. And smash. There. And I'll probably build something that goes all the way back to the spawn, which is over in that direction, and see if I can get that to be the main sort of, one of the main land access points for the city, to come from spawn going that way. It's not a bad tunnel. I feel like there should be some graffiti in it though. Local sports team rules. Local sports team sucks. This is the controversy that I'm opening myself up to. Now this, across this, actually should I show you the bridge first? I will. This is the bridge that I built. I'm really very pleased with that. We haven't finished anything beyond this point. So we'll, as we go over this bridge in the rail cart, we'll find that there's a lot of stuff which looks a little bit shoddy, a little bit unfinished. But you can see the whole of the city laid out there, as it is at the moment. I'm really quite pleased with it. I mean, if I wasn't, why would I show you? Like, dear the internet, please criticize. Let's go. So this is high-speed rail that's laid along here, so it's actually holding up really well. The frame rate did not drop going over there, I'm surprised. This is lower speed rail. Here, gate to the nether, and what you'll see phasing in over here. I'm going to hit that cart, I'm fine. This is the train station. The first connecting train station that we come to. There's a bit more that we need to do here, but Candy and I built this together. It's built out of glowstone glass. Originally, there was a small village which was approximately here. As you can see, there is no trace of that village anymore, because what I did was build this, and I'll take you up to the top. This is actually slightly larger than the Great Pyramid at Giza, built in Minecraft blocks. So we've got a gold cap to it, and the intention is that I will actually use carpenter's blocks to cover down all of these steps, which is a huge task, eventually, to cover the whole thing and make it smooth fronted as the pyramids would have been originally. And essentially the only reason I have two reasons for having this here. The first one is so that people have a reason to go on the train, so they can come over and they can look at it, and maybe they'll be able to buy cheap crap. from vendors outside, be hassled like I was when I went to the pyramids. I think it's tradition. It's a cultural thing. Now, of course, the angle of slope in the Minecraft world is 45 degrees, which is slightly different than the angle of slope on the pyramids. But frankly, criticizing it for that seems like wild pedantry. This was created in World Edit, by the way. I tried to make something like this without World Edit. I actually started quarrying out the area, so I did flatten all of this land firstly using quarries, but then I did the math on the number of blocks that I would need to place, and even if I was using the creative builder's wand, I was still looking at hundreds of thousands of mouse clicks to get it done, so I decided to cheat it in, basically. But over time I am going to try and add more of those facing stones to give it a smoother appearance. And that's as much as I have to show you. We're also, I think, going to rebuild the village around here as well, because otherwise it seems a bit sparse. And what I'm going to look into is how we expand a railway system so that we don't come to an abrupt halt. Railcraft is actually not something that I'm terribly familiar with. I know there's an element of it built into Minecraft, but I've actually never used it before on any sort of significant scale. But I think it'll be good. And that's everything really that I had to show you just now. Hope you like it. Candy and I are hopefully going to try and make some videos about this in future. I'm certainly going to keep working on it anyway. So if you like this, then tell me you like it by pressing the... Is there a like button? Whichever buttons are there. Use all of the buttons. If you like this, mash your hand into your keyboard and I'll know. I'll just know. And as the city gradually loads into view, I will end the video.